let's just dive straight into 3 healthy habits for your self-love journey. There are so many things that I could say for this episode, but I wanted to keep it maybe a little bit different than your typical journaling, which is something that I would often recommend. The first one is forgiving yourself. A great start to your self-love journey or self-acceptance journey. Loving yourself starts with forgiveness of your past mistakes or times that you have maybe treated yourself poorly or not believed in yourself. All of these things have such a negative impact on how we view ourselves. So letting those things go, which takes time, but actively forgiving yourself and making an intention to move on from the past and allow yourself to make mistakes, to have days where you're not going to absolutely love yourself or even like yourself, all of that is okay. But it starts with forgiveness, and that's an amazing start for accepting yourself. Forgiveness is something that I talk about in my book, Changing with the Tide, and I don't want to spoil the ending for you, but I forgive myself in the very last line of this book. I forgive myself for the past times that I've treated myself poorly, and it's really powerful to write that out. The second to last page is a letter to myself promising that I will love myself again. I've read it in prior episodes. It is my most popular poem with 25 million views on the internet, so you might know it. It's called To the Person I Am Today. But what I don't share often unless you've read the book is the following page, which is me forgiving myself and perhaps you forgiving yourself if that resonates with you. Before we dive into the second healthy habit, I want to share something exciting with you, which is that I am launching a 10-day self-love challenge. The challenge is open and I am so excited to welcome you into the challenge. It is 10 days live with me. There is a different task every 2 days. There are video lessons for me and I will be in the challenge doing it alongside you and cheering you on in the app. I was so excited to partner with the Self Plus app for this challenge with daily tasks that you can accomplish that will move you closer to your goal of self-acceptance. So it is not a 10-day, you're going to love yourself miraculously by the end of this challenge. It is a 10 days of making small steps, just like this podcast, towards self-love, and I would love to see you in this challenge. I will link the details in the description of this podcast. The second healthy habit that I want to talk about is setting goals. And before you roll your eyes, it is not setting goals as in, I want to love myself by this date. I want to forgive myself by this date. I want to love my nose by this date. It is not that. What it is setting goals of treating yourself better, something that you can actually actively work on, because we can say I'm going to love myself by this date, but it's really hard when you get to that date to say, okay, do I love myself? I don't know. Those types of things take time. Those are mindset changes that can take years and work. You can't just say it and it happens, right? So we want to be intentional about our goals. So an example of a goal could be, I want to treat myself better. In a few months, I want to insult myself less. I want to spend more time doing this thing that brings me joy and brings me self-care and makes me feel alive. These are things that you can actually do, physically do, and track your progress with it. Now, when you're setting these goals, it should be something that you actively focus on. So if you say, I want to insult myself less, then you need to consciously be aware of when you are insulting yourself, even if it's just these little comments that you mention to your friends or family, or something internally that you say to yourself whenever you make a mistake. Maybe you utter something to yourself. Be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of the things that you're saying about yourself. Remember that that's a goal of yours, to insult yourself less. And then use step 1, forgive yourself and try to do it less. And the more you notice it, the more you call attention to it and say, oop, I did it again, the more you'll be aware of it. And over time, the less it will happen. And maybe you go from not doing it less, but you catch yourself right away and say, nope, I didn't mean that. I am worthy of this. This was a mistake, but I'll do better next time. This was a mistake, but I didn't mean it. It happens. Mistakes happen. So you can use that as a way of tracking your progress and making noticeable efforts to treat yourself better. Maybe it's doing something that you love more often. That's your goal. Write that into your calendar once a week. Make an effort to make sure that goal is getting checked off of your list, because self-love goals are real goals. They don't deserve to be put at the bottom of your to-do list. The third and final healthy habit that I want to share with you is celebrating yourself. Little wins, big wins. Take the time to celebrate yourself and move your past self that accomplished this goal with you into your future self. Don't leave them behind. When we accomplish goals or we move into a new stage of our life, take the time to celebrate what that means for you. And I truly mean it when I say that this can be for small wins too. I kind of think of this and laugh because it makes me think of like participation trophies when you're a kid and you're not actually good at the thing, but you get a trophy just for trying and just for being involved. Let's give ourselves more participation trophies. Seriously, it may not feel like something small deserves a celebration, and I don't mean that you have to throw yourself an actual party for everything, although honestly for big goals you should throw yourself a party, but you should celebrate yourself, whether that's taking time to reflect on how far you've come, taking time to reflect on your past self and how proud they are of you. Again, you're not leaving them behind, you're bringing them with you into this new version of yourself. Whatever your goal was, whatever your achievement was, celebrate that and recognize that and appreciate that. Those are my 3 healthy habits for you today. Quick, simple things that you can achieve today. I always give you a small step in each episode, but today you have 3 small steps. Try all 3 of these healthy habits on your self-love journey. And if you are hanging around till the end, I want to remind you that my self-love challenge is open now for enrollment. It starts next week and I would love to have you in the challenge. I hope to see you there. I will be live doing it alongside you. We'll talk about forgiving ourselves, celebrating ourselves, all of the things we talked about today, more in depth and actively practicing them. You can share how it's going for you and I will respond. I'll be there with you. I can't wait to do this challenge with you and I hope to see you there. I will have the links in the description. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week filled with self-love and compassion and kindness. Thank you for listening to another episode of Small Steps to Self-Love.